The ancient Sumerian city of Ur had been lost for thousands of years, but in the early 20th century, it was discovered. In 1927, British archaeologist Leonard Woolley discovered the remains of Queen Puabi. She's queen of the first dynasty of Ur, which, if you believe the ancient astronaut theory, places her very close to when the Anunnaki started creating humans. It's been speculated that Queen Puabi was a human-Anunnaki hybrid. Her skull was huge, elongated, and the Anunnaki were described as having skulls just like this. There's currently an effort to have her DNA tested, but that project has been met with some resistance.
Yeah, predictable.
Now, Queen Puabi is not unique. Elongated skulls have been found all over the world. A large number of them have been found in Peru. They're called the Paracas skulls.
Now, let me guess. They're also against DNA testing.
They're actually not. Their DNA was tested in 2014, and the results were surprising. The skulls date back thousands of years and have DNA only found in people in the Middle East.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Peru is not in the Middle East, is it?
It's not. And listen to this. The DNA from the largest skull has genetics that originate in Mesopotamia.
They're real! Nah, they're not.
Well, mainstream science doesn't think so.
Mainstream science can go pound.
One of the researchers of the skulls, L.A. Marzulli, believes the skulls belong to Nephilim hybrids. And it's interesting that people with Middle Eastern DNA were in the jungles of South America thousands of years ago. Are they Nephilim?
Yep.
Anunnaki hybrids?
Yep.
I'll leave it to you to decide. Now, we know Sitchin was wrong about the planet Nibiru. But in 2015, Caltech researchers found evidence of a huge object deep in the solar system. It's a planet about the size of Neptune with an orbit so elliptical it reaches far beyond Pluto.
Just like Nibiru.
Yep. Now, there are no photographs of it yet, but it's so large that its gravity is affecting the orbits of objects in the Kuiper Belt. Researchers say there is a 98% chance the object is there.
Yeah, Anunnaki.
It was a long-held belief that Homo sapiens' large brain is what made us so intelligent. But a Neanderthal brain was the same size as ours. Now, they weren't simple cavemen. Neanderthals built families, societies, created art, music, and waged organized war. But Homo sapiens eventually wiped out Neanderthals. How? Neanderthals were extremely strong, far more physically powerful than humans, and they had the same sized brain. They should have destroyed us. Why didn't they? In 2013, Homo naledi was discovered. Homo naledi are an extinct species of early humans. They had very small brains, only about 1/3 the size of ours. Yet they knew how to make stone tools. They conducted funeral rituals, which implies they had religion or some idea of an afterlife, which also implies they had language. They were very intelligent. So if brain size doesn't indicate intelligence, what does? Well, in 2020, a very interesting study was released by scientists at the Max Planck Institute of Cell Biology and Genetics. They identified a genetic mutation that triggered the faster creation of neurons in the Homo sapien brain. The gene is known as TKTL1. Other hominids also had this gene, including Neanderthals, but they all differ from the modern human gene by one amino acid. This small change wouldn't come from crossbreeding or years of evolution. The only time we see a single gene altered this specifically is when that gene is targeted and manipulated with technology, with genetic engineering. By altering this one gene, Homo sapiens are able to grow neurons much faster than any other hominid species, faster by far. For 300,000 years, Homo sapiens didn't change much. They didn't invent or innovate. In fact, Neanderthals were the dominant species on Earth up until about 50,000 years ago. Then something happened. Man suddenly started to create, reason, and invent. Within a few generations, Neanderthals were wiped out, and Homo sapiens conquered the world. And our species has been rapidly advancing ever since. That gene, TKTL1, with just a tiny tweak, acted like a turbo switch in our minds and made us who we are today. Now, you may not believe in the Anunnaki, but you still have to wonder, who flipped the switch?